Look, I'm going to be straight with you. In 2023, the smartest people in tech told us that 80% of software developers would lose their jobs to AI by 2025. Not might lose, would lose. And if you're watching this right now, especially if you're a developer or thinking about becoming one, you probably felt that gut punch. I know I did. Fast forward to today, 2026, and I've got news for you. News that literally nobody in mainstream tech media wants to talk about. That AI apocalypse? It happened, just not the way anyone expected. And before you click away thinking this is another AI is doomed or AI will save us all video, trust me, the reality is so much weirder, so much messier, and honestly, so much funnier than either of those takes. By the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly what happened when the biggest companies in the world spent $40 billion trying to replace you with a chatbot. Spoiler alert, they failed. Spectacularly. But the way they failed? That's the story nobody's telling you. Let me take you back to 2023. You remember that year, right? When every LinkedIn influencer and their grandmother was posting about how prompt engineering was the only skill you'd need in the future? When CEOs were practically salivating over the idea of replacing entire engineering teams with AI? The narrative was everywhere. Leading AI researchers, people with actual PhDs and everything, published papers predicting that AI would automate up to 80% of software development jobs. Not in 50 years, not in 20 years, by 2025. Google's CEO got on stage and proudly announced that over 25% of their new code was AI-generated. Microsoft was pushing GitHub Copilot like it was the second coming. The message from Silicon Valley was crystal clear: adapt or die. And companies? Oh man, they heard, replace expensive developers with cheap AI, and their eyes turned into dollar signs. 2024 ended with 152,000 tech workers laid off globally. Intel and Amazon alone cut 30,000 jobs in early 2025, specifically saying they were realigning for an AI-centric future. If you were a developer during this time, you watched your colleagues get laid off while executives talked about AI like it was magic. If you were a student considering computer science, you probably had a minor existential crisis wondering if you were studying for a job that wouldn't exist. I'm going to tell you something that might make you feel a little better or a little angrier, or maybe both. They lied. Not on purpose, maybe. But they sold everyone a fantasy. Here's what actually happened. The MIT Technology Review just released a report with a title that should make every tech executive want to crawl into a hole. The Gen AI Divide. You want to know what they found? After $40 billion invested globally in generative AI for software development, 95%, let me say that again, 95% of enterprise AI pilots failed to deliver a single measurable dollar of return. Not didn't meet expectations. Not underperformed. Literally delivered $0 in value. Most companies saw absolutely no net impact on their bottom line. They spent millions on AI tools and got nothing back except a massive headache. But here's where it gets funny, in that dark, ironic way that makes you want to laugh and cry at the same time. Reuters reported that while 97% of tech companies integrated AI into their operations, 2/3 of them didn't save a single human headcount. Translation? They bought the AI, they fired the humans, and then they had to secretly rehire humans to fix what the AI broke. It's like firing your chef and buying a microwave, then hiring a chef to fix your microwave meals. Stanford researchers gave this problem a name: vibe coding. I swear I'm not making that up. Vibe coding. It's when developers use natural language to basically wish software into existence. Hey AI, make me an app that does this thing. And boom, code appears. Sounds amazing, right? It works great in demos. It works great for simple scripts. It absolutely falls apart when you try to build anything complex. The AI-generated code was simpler, more repetitive, and dangerously fragile. Think of it like building a house out of duct tape and cardboard. Sure, it looks like a house. It might even keep the rain out. For now. But the foundation, non-existent. Now we get to the really expensive part. Cast Software analyzed 10 billion lines of code across the industry. They did the math on how much technical debt all this AI coding created. Their number? 61 billion workdays to fix it all. Let me put that in perspective for you. If you started today and worked every single day without a break, it would take you 167 million years to pay off the world's current technical debt alone. But sure, we saved money by not hiring developers. Here's what happened. The AI doesn't write elegant, reusable code. It copies and pastes over and over and over. Engineers found a 400% surge in code cloning. The same blocks of code, repeated everywhere, each one slightly different, none of them maintainable. They call this the slop layer. I love that term. It's code that technically works, but nobody understands why. And more importantly, nobody can fix it when it breaks. And oh boy, does it break. The 2025 VeraCode report dropped a bomb. 45% of AI-generated code contains critical security vulnerabilities. For Java specifically, the failure rate is 72%. Let me translate that for you. Nearly 3 out of every 4 AI-generated Java functions have exploitable security holes. Holes that hackers love. Holes that cost companies millions in breaches. But wait, it gets better. Remember how AI was supposed to make developers faster? CodeRabbit analyzed thousands of pull requests and found that AI-generated code has an average of 10.8 issues per request, compared to 6.4 for human-written code. The AI isn't making us faster. It's creating almost double the problems that we then have to spend time fixing. Senior engineers are now reporting being 19% slower when using AI coding tools. Why? Because they've become babysitters. They spend 11 hours per week just correcting AI hallucinations, code that looks perfect but contains logical landmines. Let me ask you something. If you hired an assistant who was wrong 45% of the time, made almost twice as many mistakes as doing it yourself, and required you to spend 11 hours a week fixing their errors, would you keep that assistant? Of course not. But that's exactly what these companies did, except they fired the competent humans first. Now here's the part that actually makes me angry. While companies were busy trying to replace developers with AI, they stopped hiring junior developers. Entry-level hiring dropped by 50% between 2023 and 2025. Think about that. An entire generation of aspiring developers couldn't get their foot in the door because companies thought AI could handle entry-level work. Stanford found that in AI-exposed roles, employment for young workers declined significantly, while employment for developers over 35 actually increased. You know what this creates? Economists call it the junior death spiral. If you don't hire juniors today, you won't have seniors in 5 years. The entire talent pipeline just got severed. And the juniors who did get hired? They're thrown straight into complex architecture without the training wheels. In the past, you learned by writing boilerplate code. Now the AI does that. And you're expected to jump directly into senior-level problems. It's like teaching someone to drive by putting them directly into Formula One racing. But here's where the power dynamic gets really interesting. Companies realize they screwed up and need humans again. They also realized something else. For the first time in a decade, they have the upper hand in salary negotiations. The market is flooded with developers from earlier layoffs. Supply and demand did its thing. Median salaries for software roles dropped 9% year over year in the US and UK. And here's the psychological warfare part. Hiring managers will literally tell candidates, well, since AI is doing 40% of the work, we can't justify 2022 salaries. It's a bluff. They're drowning in AI-generated technical debt that only humans can fix. But the bluff is working. You want to know the best part of this whole mess? The part that makes all of this worth it? Builder AI, a $1.5 billion startup that promised fully autonomous AI development. In late 2025, they collapsed. And when the court documents came out, Bloomberg reporters discovered something absolutely hilarious. This company, which marketed cutting-edge AI that could build software automatically, was secretly employing 700 human engineers in India to manually do the work they claimed was automated. I'm not exaggerating. They literally sold a chatbot interface that routed requests to human developers, then pretended it was all AI. They promised a machine. They sold a sweatshop. And when the money ran out to pay the humans, the AI magically stopped working. If that doesn't perfectly summarize this entire era, I don't know what does. Bloomberg called it the ultimate proof of the AI lie. And honestly, they're not wrong. How many other AI products are similarly full of hidden humans? But even the real AI tools failed spectacularly. Late 2025 gave us what I call the anti-gravity incident. A developer asked Google's anti-gravity AI to clear a project cache. Simple task, right? The AI misread a flag and executed a recursive delete on the root directory. It wiped 2 terabytes of production data in seconds, months of work, gone. The AI's response afterward? I made a catastrophic error in judgment. You know what? I've made errors in judgment too. But when I do, there's accountability. There's professional responsibility, there's insurance, there's recourse. When an AI deletes your entire production environment, who do you sue? The model? The company? Good luck with that. So here we are in 2026, and I want to tell you what nobody in tech media will say out loud. AI didn't replace developers. It replaced the delusion that software development is simple. The companies that are actually winning right now, not the ones getting hype, not the ones raising funding, but the ones making real money. They stopped trying to prompt their way to success. They're using AI as what it actually is, a really good autocomplete, a helpful tool, not a replacement for human intelligence. Listen, I'm not anti-AI. I use AI coding tools. They're genuinely useful for certain things, but there's a massive difference between useful tool and replacement for human expertise. Free AI-generated code is the most expensive debt you can take on. You're not saving money. You're borrowing from your future at interest rates that would make a loan shark blush. And here's what I want you to understand, especially if you're a developer or thinking about becoming one. Yeah, the job market is rough right now. Yeah, companies are using AI as an excuse to suppress wages. Yeah, it sucks. But they can't escape reality forever. Their systems are drowning in technical debt that only humans can fix. They need architects who can actually design systems, not just prompt chatbots. They need engineers who understand security, scalability, maintainability, concepts that AI barely grasps. The pendulum will swing back. It always does. Look, I made this video for you. Not for the algorithm, not for the clicks, for you. If you're a developer who's been terrified about AI taking your job, I want you to breathe. The future isn't humans versus AI. It's humans who know how to leverage AI without being enslaved by it versus those who don't. If you're a business owner who bought into the hype and now you're dealing with a mess of unmaintainable AI-generated code, you're not alone. The fix is admitting the mistake and reinvesting in human talent. If you're a student wondering if computer science is still worth it, let me be clear. Software engineering isn't dead. The fantasy that it was easy? That's what died. The truth is, we just lived through one of the biggest experiments in tech history. $40 billion spent proving that human intelligence, creativity, and accountability still matter. Was it expensive? Absolutely. Was it painful? You have no idea. Was it necessary? Maybe, because now we know. I'm going to keep making videos like this. Real investigations, real data, no hype, no BS. Just the truth about where tech is actually heading. If that's valuable to you, hit subscribe. Seriously, this channel is brand new, and I'm building something different here. No clickbait, no selling courses, just honest, deep dive analysis into the stories that actually matter. Drop a comment and tell me, are you using AI coding tools? Has it made you more productive or just created more problems? I want to hear your real experience, not what LinkedIn influencers say you should feel. And if you know someone who needs to hear this, a developer friend who's worried about their future, a business owner drowning in technical debt, a student questioning their major, send them this video. This is information people need. Thanks for trusting me with your time. That means everything, especially to a new channel. I'll see you in the next one.